Did you get the button?
Oh, it's on my other screen. Cool. All right. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're going to go through our Augusta, Georgia 145 unit end of year 2022 review quickly tonight. And just briefly, this is what we will cover. We'll show some pictures of before and after of the units that we've turned, our current rent growth. We'll compare our actual returns to our pro forma and go through the current, what we have in the bank accounts. And then we'll go look forward through 2023 on what we intend to do and how we intend to perform, and then answer any questions that you may have at the end. So this is an example of one of the turns we recently did. This was on the left when we had our inspections we were doing. Sorry about the photo quality. I was not intending this to end up on a webinar. Believe it or not, this was in January when we first looked at the property with the Christmas tree up there. So after this person moved out on the right, you can see what the turn looks like. Just very on trend colors right now, grays and whites, very inexpensive to do. This is an example of a studio that we transformed. We tested out this flooring. We're actually not going to use it again and go back to the other one that we had on the previous picture, but similar outlook there. If you would mute yourself, if you would. You can do it for me because I can't see the mute button anywhere. All right. This is an example of a bathroom before and after. Very basic again, on trend colors. And a bedroom. We took off the 50-year-old wallpaper, or 40-year-old really, and got it painted. And then on the left is actually a before picture of the leasing office. The two pictures on the right are after. It actually had carpet on it before we put in these floors on the left. So it doesn't look as bad as it once did on the left side, but you can see that it's been completely transformed as well. Smells really nice. Now, when we first came into the property, it didn't have a pleasant odor at all. Just very inviting to come into now. So some of the numbers we've seen so far this year in collections. In July, when we took over the property, Cedar Ridge had 32,000, Oakwood 40,000, and at the end of November, we've actually grown those incomes 60% and 48%, just by doing unit turns and organic rent growth. So our average rent in July for Cedar Ridge was $568, now $774, and Oakwood was $719, now $823. So a 36 and a 14% increase. We've also done 53 out of the 75 turns, really ripped the Band-Aid off, the proverbial Band-Aid, and turned that property around. It is now 100% pre-leased, over 90% occupied, and everyone will be in the door before the end of the year is out. And then 21 to 70 units have been turned to Oakwood. So these are actual versus our pro forma numbers. So income was greater than 5% than what we projected. Our expenses were 21% below our projections. That made NOI 37% above what we projected. Debt service was a little bit higher than we anticipated, about $5,000. And that made our cash flow more than double what we planned on achieving. So
Holy cow. I got that in there. Sorry. Keep going.
Thanks. I knew I'd get you excited, Iggy. Thank you. So this is cash on hand right now, operations and reserves accounts over $1 million, $1,074,000. So plenty of cash on hand, another $50,000 in security deposits. Two things you want when owning real estate going into a recession is cash flow and cash on hand. We have a abundance of both of those. So I think it's over 2 years of reserves if we needed it. We do plan on doing some more renovations next year and spending some of that money. And right now we are at a 74% break-even occupancy, which is fantastic. So we would have to drop 26% vacancy and we would still break even on all our expenses, including paying the mortgage. So in 2023, these are our goals and what we anticipate doing and actually blowing these away. But increase the NOI or the income to 1.4 million, increase our NOI to 811,000. And to achieve that, all we have to do is achieve an average rent of $904 a unit. And that's on a 90% economic occupancy. So to do that, we'll finish out renewals and turns as needed, complete our CapEx projects, and really take great care of our talent that we have in place. We recently found some fantastic help. Her name is Jayla. She's our property manager, and she is running the show over there, and she is responsible for getting us 100% pre-leased and doing all these fantastic turns. So we're going to take good care of her. So our projects for 2023, convert one of the leasing offices at Oakwood into a studio and make that income producing. That should produce almost another $10,000 in income. That's actually not baked into our pro forma. So that's just, you know, extra on top. And complete the remaining turns at Cedar Ridge. So another quarter of those turns need to be done out of those units. There's a roof we're going to replace at Oakwood, repair some wood rot, and then install some gutters. So if you haven't already, please update your, go into cash flow portal and update your address so we can get the K1s out on time. That would be very helpful. If you're not sure how to do that, please get with your sponsor, and I am happy to answer any questions. Do we have any questions? Bessie, do you
I see. Yeah, we have one question with respect to the distribution timing. I think we started with quarterly and now monthly.
Yeah, so our intention was to do our first distribution after 6 months of ownership, just so we could understand the property and what was happening and feel confident and comfortable with having regular distributions. We surpassed that. And actually after the first quarter, we got together as a team and decided, you know, we feel very confident in what's happening over there, and decided to release our first distribution. And once we start distributions, we like to have distributions monthly. So we anticipate to continue distributions every month at the beginning of the month, and we intend to grow those distributions over the coming months. So they should be going up for sure. Did that answer the question?
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
John, can we talk a little bit about how the property management was before, how it is now, the kind of improvements that we did? Any comments from your side?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we took over Cedar Ridge, especially, was definitely a mom and pop shop. The leasing agent in place had been there 10 years. She was bonused on occupancy and not income, and just kind of set in her ways and had her favorite residents, and really didn't see the opportunity that we saw in the property. We did give her a chance, you know, to wrap her head around our business plan. And we did take a couple months to try to work with her to make that happen. At the end of the day, it wasn't a good fit for us or for her, and she moved on to better things. And we brought on, we use actually a temp agency so we could feel someone out before we bring them on full time. And that was Jayla. We were over the moon impressed. She actually started her leasing agent career across the street from where Cedar Ridge is. And so she's very familiar with the property and how to market it, and she's proven that out for us now. So so yeah, we're very excited about that. I mean, that's all the difference. It really, the most important thing is operations now, and having great talent in there that looks out for our business plan is probably the most important thing.
Yeah, thank you, John.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate your guys'
one-
help, 'cause I cannot see the chat. Go ahead.
Sorry, one question. I noticed that, and I think it's for Cedar Ridge, where on one property, the upgrade was done for 50 units, and in the other one, it was 21 units. So what was the driver to focus more on one property rather than the other?
That's a great question. So Oakwood is more of our stabilized property, and it's in a better location. It was managed by a professional property management company who was the owners. He owned it, and they had done some turns, and it was a lot more stabilized. So really all we were doing over there were renewals, and if there was a lease that came up and they moved out and the unit needed a turn, we would do it, but there wasn't really a whole lot of turnover. The rents were already higher over there and they were expecting to pay more anyway. So there wasn't a whole lot of turnover. Now on Cedar Ridge, it was, you know, we had tenants that had been there, I mean, literally over 20 years, some of them, and, you know, 500 a month average rents. These units were originally built in the 80s. They had never been touched on the inside. The outsides look phenomenal. The insides were original, everything. The wallpaper, I don't know, maybe they changed some carpet, but it looked old. It was the beige colors and whatnot. So anytime a renewal came up, which we asked them not to sign leases while we were under contract. So we had a lot of renewals up, and which we like because we can implement our business plan. And so when a renewal came up, you know, hey, your rent's going to the market rent, which sometimes was a couple $100 more. And half the people, actually, we were anticipating half would stay and half would leave, and we would do those turns. It actually ended up that 3/4 of them ended up staying, and we would do if they left, we would do the turn and get someone new in, or sometimes they would just sign at the new market rent and take the unit. So it was a lot more turns, I guess, on Cedar Ridge, if that answers your question.
Yes, no, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the question. Well, I am really, really excited about what we got going on here, and I can't wait to see what happens in 2023. We can't thank you folks enough for investing with us. We appreciate you, and this wouldn't happen without you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And we're really excited that you get to be a part of this one, because it's a good one. All right, that's all I got.
All right.
you.
Great job, Jonathan. Great job, team.
Yes.
Great job, team. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you.
Have a
Thank you,
great
you too. Bye.
weekend. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
holidays.
And Merry Christmas.
holidays.
Happy
Yes, Merry
holidays.
Christmas to you all. Yeah.
All right. Iggy, can you stop the recording for me?